It's Facebook Live time. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Melissa's Crafting Treehouse Weekly Facebook Live event. Whether you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, I'm so happy to have you here. I have some fun today, just some announcements, and I've got a really cool project that I'm super excited about that uses the Power of Hope bundle that's in the Sale-A-Bration catalog. Hi Pam, welcome. Yay. Always fun to see people joining in. So Happy New Year if you're just joining in. Maybe I'll say that a few times. I'm so excited for 2020. I just think that it's just a crisp, clean number, 2020. So I'm excited for the new year. Hope you are too. So I'm going to launch into announcements and then we'll get to the project. Hi, Edwina. Welcome. Yes, okay, so you guys know today is the very last day of the holiday catalog, and for getting any of the closeout sale items or the retiring items that are retiring as of today in the holiday catalog. And tomorrow is the first day of the brand new January to June mini catalog. Used to be called the Occasions catalog, but now we're calling it the January to June mini catalog. And also the start of Sale-A-Bration, which is the biggest promotion of the Stampin' Up! Year. Just a super fun and awesome time because basically everybody gets free stuff. Customers, hostesses, and if you buy the starter kit, you also get free stuff. So I'm going to quickly go through those things in case there are people out there that are not familiar with what Sale-A-Bration is. Basically, for every $50 you spend in merchandise, you get a free item. Those are level 1 items. We also have level 2 items, and what I'm showing today is a level 2 item because it's a pair of products, both an embossing folder and a stamp set, and there are a few of those in the Sale-A-Bration catalog this year. So, but for every $50, if you spend $50, there's lots of things to choose from that you can get with that $50 merchandise purchase, and then there are a few things if you get up to $100 that you can get as well, and there is no limit. So you spend $300, you can get 6 level 1s or 3 level 2s or any combination you want. So super fun. So now 300 is a magic number when it comes to being a hostess during Sale-A-Bration. So when you host a party, whether it's all your own purchase or a combination of people who have ordered using a hostess code, when the party sales get to 300, the hostess gets a free stamp set. Yay, there was a heart. Somebody likes free stuff like me. So when your party gets to 300, you get a free stamp set, and the name of it is just slipping my mind right now. I was thinking about it and talking about it earlier today, and I can't remember what it is. Anyway, it's in the Sale-A-Bration brochure. And many of you, if you are my customers, if you're a regular customer, you would have gotten the Sale-A-Bration catalog and the mini catalog in the mail from me, so you would maybe have those in hand, or if you're a demonstrator, you have those in hand. So you'll be able to see what that stamp set looks like that you'll get for free as a hostess. And then finally, last but not least, if you buy the starter kit, which is a great deal all the time, all year long, it's $99. You get $126 of product. But during Sale-A-Bration and at select other times during the year, Stampin' Up! Does a special. So during Sale-A-Bration, you also get to pick any free stamp set from any stamp set from any catalog that you would normally pay for. Oh, little ladybug. Thank you, Pam. Yes, that's the set you get for free with a $300 party. Back to what I was, oh yes, so if you join and you buy the starter kit, so it's $99, $126 in product plus all business supplies, but during Sale-A-Bration you get to pick any stamp set from the catalog. I think the highest value stamp set is, what did I figure? I think it's $48. I had it in my newsletter today. If somebody read that newsletter, you can remind me here or remind everybody here. And of course, you may not choose that most expensive set, but you have the choice to do that if you join. And then you also get a medley of designer series papers, and I know they're around here. I should always have them handy. Let's see, where did I put them? I don't know where I put it. Anyway, it's a 6x6 pack of designer paper with 6 different with a little bit of 6 different designer papers that are in the catalog. One is a Sale-A-Bration paper, and then the other 5 are designer papers that are just in the big catalog. So the thinking is, of course, if you're starting as a new demonstrator, it's great to have a little bit of a lot of different products to be able to show. So that sampler will be really good if you are joining, and whether you want to use it yourself or you want to share it with other people, you'll have a really nice sampler of designer paper with 48 pieces of 6x6 designer paper. And then you also get this adorable little mini cutter, and I do have that right here, so hold on, show you that. I think I showed it last week. It's just cute. It's like this, it's small, but it does fit a 6x6 sheet, so it's good for cutting 6x6 designer series paper pieces or small pieces for sentiments and that kind of thing. So those are the 3 things you get if you join. And if you go to my website and you want to know why you should join with me, I have a page that describes some of the other benefits that you get. You get access to my technique classes for free, the electronic components. You also get a free Simple Sweet Stampers tutorial bundle every month. That's 8 tutorials. You get me, support from me, and guidance from me, and projects in the mail, and different perks and benefits. So, it's a very personal thing what you decide to do as far as who you join with, but I would love to have you with me. So let me know if you have questions. I'm happy to help. All right, so let's see. I think that's pretty much, oh no, one more announcement. Big announcement. I've been talking about this for weeks. My Taste of a Sweet product shares the reservation window is coming to a close. The reservation window closes on Saturday the 4th, so that's coming up. So you have just one extra day after when the catalog goes live tomorrow, the 3rd. You have till the 4th in order to decide, in case you need to look at the catalog online and decide if any of those shares are of interest to you. And I do have a page on my site dedicated to that with all the details and pictures of the shares and everything. So you basically get a little bit of 3, 4, or 5 consumables in a given suite divided up. So you're just getting a little bit of each thing instead of having to buy whole packs of everything. So it's a very economical way to try out a lot of products. So that concludes my announcement. So now I'm going to get to the project. I'm going to show you some of the products I'm using to start with. I'm actually, for this project, I'm dry embossing in 2 places and heat embossing in 3 places. I've done a little bit ahead of time just so I don't have to do all of that while you're watching me, but it is a pretty simple project. So the card base is actually embossed with the subtle embossing folder. You guys have seen this lots of times because I use it all the time. And so the card base, just the front, is done with that really nice texture. Now on my first project, I will show you at the end, the first one that I did, my original card, I did it the opposite way. I did it both ways. So it ended up being kind of a grid. So the subtle's this way, and then I did the subtle embossing folder this way. And it looked really cool, actually. I think it was an accident. It's not necessary. It doesn't show up that well, but it does work to do that. So I thought I'd point that out. It's kind of fun. So we're using that embossing folder, and then the Sale-A-Bration bundle that we're using is this Power of Hope stamp set. And it's got these beautiful Asian type images. I honestly was not loving this when I first saw it, but I'm having a lot of fun with it now, and it pairs beautifully with this embossing folder. So this is called the Stone embossing folder, and it just creates this beautiful texture that I love. I think I showed a couple pieces with it done last time, and I have been playing and creating with it. That actually has some sponging over the top, so you can see some of the texture, and I have some amazing projects, if I might say so, coming soon that I've created and will show really soon that I just adore with this embossing folder. You can blame this embossing folder for the project today because I had to have it, and then this came along with it, and I had a lot of fun with both of them. So I think you're going to like it. So let's get started. I'm going to put the camera face down, and I'll get showing you the project. Okay. Sorry for my awkward transition here. Okay. All right. Yes. I see that noticing, Sally, you love that embossing folder. Yes. I am just a nut for embossing folders, but certain ones especially, and this is one of them. So again, this is already dry embossed. And then, now I have already taken a piece of soft suede and I have dry embossed that piece already. Now, you can do this in any particular order that you want. And I did do the dry embossing ahead, but some of you may find it easier to not do it ahead. So the first thing you have to do is figure out which side you're going to put Versamark on, because that's our first step. I'm taking my Versamark, and I want it to be on the raised lines. That's where I want my Versamark to be, because I want it to go into the recesses of the lines between the stone. So, but before I do it, because I've already embossed this, I'm going to make sure I know how to line it up in here. So how I figure this out, and this just gives you an option. If you've dry embossed and you decide you want to go back and do what I'm about to do, you'll have the option to do it. So I use this nice big little stone, if you will, to figure out where to line it up in here. And then it's almost like it sort of fits into it. To turn that over. Let me just get that in there, line it up. Okay, so I can see that it's now generally where I want it to be. So I'm just going to open it up because I want to put the Versamark on the line. So that's just going to give me a general idea of where I'm putting it. So I'm taking my Versamark and I'm going to gently rub it over the surface. And you can do it with either side. If I were putting Versamark on the other side, I'd be getting it on the flat portions of the stone. But I want it to be in the recesses, like I said. So I'm just going to double check that it's still in the right spot. And it's sort of, it's like almost notches into place once you get it into the right spot. Okay, so now it's closed. I'm going to bring my big shot in. And I'm using my 3D embossing plate. This is the new plate that's sized to go with the new embossing folders, since the catalog came out in June of this year. We have different sized embossing folders. They're actually a different thickness, which is why you need a new plate. Now, people have asked me, do I have to buy this blue plate? And you don't actually. It's a lot more convenient to do it with this plate. But you can work with the old ones and create a shim to get it to fit properly if you want. And that is what I did. Just don't force it through your big shot or your embossing tool, because you don't want to break anything. And I don't want to be responsible for you having broken anything. Okay, so now I'm bringing in my copper embossing powder. This is where the magic begins. This is like one of my favorite things to do. Okay, so now if I did this right, which I think I did because I can see some darkness in the recesses, I got Versamark in the lines between the stones. Now I did this card for a swap, demonstrator swap. It was in my Incentive Achievers swap group, I believe. And for that one, I made multiples. And what I found was I could actually use the Versamark on my embossing folder more than once, and I would still get enough of the powder in the recesses, because I don't really want it to be solid. I just want a little bit of those recesses to have Versamark in them and the copper embossing powder. So now I'm going to go ahead and heat it. Okay, once I get a corner of this done, I'll lift it up so you guys can see it a little closer. Watch the magic of the copper embossing powder melt, which is always so much fun. Starting. I just love embossing, both dry embossing and heat embossing, and then you combine the two and it's just so amazing. So now you guys maybe can see some of that magic. I just love to show heat embossing to people also, especially new people, because typically when people see it, you just, you get a gasp, especially if it's one of the metallics, because it's just so pretty. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Figure something nice and shiny is perfect for the new year. I see people commenting and saying Happy New Year. Thank you to those of you who are doing that. Happy New Year to you too. Okay. Let's just check and see if I got it everywhere. I think I missed a spot, but you guys can see how pretty that is, I'm sure. Okay. So there's my background or starting piece. What do you guys think? Oh, yes. Love it. Like magic. Thank you, Kay. I so agree. Okay. So next, I'm actually just going to go ahead and attach this piece to my black card base. And again, my black card base is dry embossed with the subtle embossing folder. Okay. I refuse to have problems with my adhesive again. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to get this fixed. This happened a few weeks ago. Just totally threw me off. Not happening today. 2020. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Yay. I will not allow technical malfunctions get the better of me. All right. So, and I also love black with the neutrals and those metallics. Just so striking. Okay, next up, now I've embossed my, what is that? Is that a pagoda? I don't know what that is, but the little Asian building there with copper embossing powder. So I got started with that on here. And you may be able to see that I have also die cut this piece using one of the stitched rectangle framelits. I don't know if you can see too well, it's so dark, but it kind of adds a lot to it. So I've done that step already. And then, oh my, just realized, where is my set? Where's my stamp? It's not actually in here. Oh yes it is, yay, forgot to put them on blocks. Okay. Here we go. Just get a block. So what I'm using here is this adorable little tree image. And maybe it's a cherry blossom. That's kind of what it makes me think of. I'm going to use my embossing buddy. And this is just going to give some framing and depth to my little focal piece here. So I'm taking my Versamark and stamp one of the images up in the upper right. And now, just to be sure, I actually did fine over there, but I made myself a little mask. So if I wanted to overlap the tree with the building, I could. And because I wanted it to be kind of tucked in here and look like it's in behind. And then when I make a mask like this, I always put it into my stamp set so that I can use it again, assuming it has any more stickiness, and then I don't have to cut it again, which is nice. So for this, I'm going to heat emboss those little images there with my clear embossing powder. And that's, like I said, just going to give me a little subtle element in the background, create some depth, and just kind of complete the simple scene. going to come in and heat those. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the different embossing powders tend to heat at a different rate, and I find that the clear embossing powder tends to heat faster for some reason. I don't know why. So it's just something to pay attention to so you don't burn it. And if you haven't heard me say before, when you burn what you're heat embossing, it will lose its shine and it'll become flat instead of being raised. So you definitely don't want to lose the shine, and you want it to be raised because it looks especially nice that way. So there's my focal piece. And now I've cut a little piece of copper foil sheet, and I'm going to place it at the bottom of my focal piece. So I'm just going to start by putting a couple of glue dots on the bottom of my stitched rectangle focal piece. And I find it easiest to have this down on your work surface when you're attaching it, and I'm trying to center it so I have the same amount on the left and the right. I'm showing some on the bottom as well. So it just kind of anchors it without framing the whole thing. So there's that. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the back side, and I'm going to use my black dimensionals. This is a perfect project for using black so that they don't show. And on this, I like to overlap that little copper piece just to ensure that it's going to stay on there. And I'm also putting the dimensionals over where the glue dots are. And I just noticed I didn't do that on the right, so I'm just going to cut a smaller piece and just stick it in there. Don't want it to flatten and lose its dimension because the glue dot attaches to the paper. Okay, got to have a few more in here. I think the more I craft, I don't know if you guys are like this, the more dimensionals I use. I used to put one in each corner and then one in the center, and now I just put them all over the place. I just want to make sure that it doesn't flatten out. I love my dimension. We are in the home stretch on this, and then I just got a sentiment piece. And it's pretty much centered top to bottom. Now my sentiment piece is stamped with jet black StazOn on a piece of copper foil, and then cut out with one of the layering ovals framelets. And it's just going to be in the upper left-hand corner, sort of to fill out that area that doesn't have trees and something else on there. Just kind of balance it out a little. So there's my finished card. So what do you guys think? This is one of my favorite things that I've created. I don't know how you feel, but I love it. Crazy for it, and can't wait to show some of the other things that I've made with this beautiful combination of embossing folder and stamp set. So I'll be playing with that some more as well. So let's see. Just a couple of recaps. I think I'm pretty much done with my presentation. So just want to remind you of the announcements. So of course, last day today to buy anything that's retiring from the holiday catalog. Tomorrow's first day of Sale-A-Bration, the first day of the mini catalog, and first day to join Stampin' Up! And get all the benefits of being a demonstrator. And you can be a discount shopper, you can build a business, or anything in between. And don't forget about my product shares. I will put a link in the Facebook post and in the YouTube description with links to my product shares and to my website. And definitely let me know if you have questions. And if you are interested in considering joining Stampin' Up, I'd be happy to have a phone conversation with you too. Sometimes hearing a voice over the phone is a lot better and easier to answer questions and ask questions that you may have. So I hope you've enjoyed the projects. This photographs of this project with project dimensions and details supply list will be on my website tomorrow. And I'll be back next Thursday, which is January 9th, for another Facebook Live and another fun project for you. So I hope you've enjoyed the project today, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2020. Yay. Thanks for bringing the year in with me a little bit. Bye-bye.